The views and opinions expressed by the guest author or speaker during this live session are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of Reader's Magnet. The content shared is for informational purposes only and does not constitute endorsement or promotion of any particular belief, ideology, or product.
Hello, authors, book lovers, and storytellers. Welcome to the RM Hive. You are tuning into Reader's Magnet's featured author interview. I am your host, Brittany, and today we have a very special guest here with us. She is DeShala Walker. So, a little introduction for DeShala. DeShala Walker is a licensed social worker, trauma advocate, and children's author. She has over 16 years of experience working with youth. As the founder of Walker Through Life, DeShala is passionate about empowering individuals through storytelling and healing, which is why we are here today, right, DeShala?
Oh yeah, I'm very excited. How you doing, everybody?
Yeah. So, let's begin the interview, shall we? Are you
Oh yeah,
ready, DeShala?
I'm
All
ready.
right,
Let's
so
go.
our first question for your book is DeShala, what inspired you to write Staying the Course? And how did your own experiences influence the story and its themes of resilience and hope?
Staying the course, it was definitely born out of a deep place in my heart. Obviously, it's from my personal childhood story, but it's also a place that once carried a lot of pain, silence, and confusion. As a child, I didn't always have the words to explain what I was feeling. And so for a very long time, I carried things all by myself. I held things in, and I didn't feel like I had a voice. So writing this book allowed me to revisit that little girl, that 6 year old little girl who didn't know what to do, and offer her what she needed most. A validation, a voice, and a lot of hope. And so while writing this book, my journey filled with hope and struggles and small victories, and inspired me to write a story that helps children understand that no matter what they have gone through, their story doesn't end there. It's just honestly just the beginning
Yes.
of like healing. So resilience isn't about having it all figured out. It's about continuing to walk even when the road is hard. So
Yes, I agree. Especially with the part that there's a little girl inside. It
hmm
it's very important in the during the healing process. All right,
yes,
so Sheila, our
yeah.
second question is the book introduces the concept of PTSD in a gentle, child appropriate way. Why did you feel it was important to include this topic in a children's book? And how did you approach writing about it with such care?
Well, as you mentioned, I have over 12 to 15 years of working with children, but the last 8 to 9 as a school social worker. And so, someone who outlived through this trauma, I've seen firsthand how early experiences can shape a child's world, including those children who had confided in me about their own trauma. So, many children doesn't have the language to use. Sometimes the lot of language that you hear or that you may notice about children if you are a caregiver or a teacher or a parent, they tend to cry or you tend to have big emotions like lashing out or maybe sit in silence as I did. So because they don't have that language, um, I felt like PTSD using that in a gentle way was my way of helping normalize mental health. It should be a conversation that we have at a very young age with children. And I approached it with care using simple, relatable language and illustrations to help children feel safe and understood. And I don't want to label them, of course, but it's about giving them tools and a story that reflects their truth and also offering hope and healing too.
I agree, especially when they're children themselves. It is important that they grow up to become healthy adults, right,
Yeah.
Shayla?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And it starts very young. I mean, I would even suggest, for those children who need the additional support with going to therapy, if parents also agree, of course, that they start there, or even talking with the school social worker or counselor if they feel like that's the additional support that they need. So.
Yeah, like they need all the support they can get to become a healthy and functional person. Yes. So, this Shayla, our next question is the story beautifully captures both joyful childhood memories and more difficult experiences. How did you find the balance between lightheartedness and deeper, more emotional themes in the book?
The balance definitely came from obviously my real life experiences, But like in the midst of like all my pain and those moments of laugh, there are also moments of like laughter and comfort and a lot of connection. So I wanted readers to feel the whole spectrum of a childhood. I'm sure you can even think as your inner child self, of those happy places of some great food items that you may have partaken in, or maybe a great friend that you had back in the day.
Yes.
And there's not just happy parts in our lives and kids' lives. There's also those hard parts too. And so that's what makes the story feels very honest. And I was very intentional about weaving those bright memories in the beginning of the story, playing moments and community and stuff. But also that healing doesn't mean forgetting the good either. You can also forgive someone, but still not forget what happened. But and also, learn
Yes.
and move on too. So it just was a meaningful way of holding space for joy and truth, and then sometimes in the same breath. So.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you also have like a support system back then, Shayla? You mentioned a while ago. This is just a short follow up question. You mentioned a while ago that you found it hard to find a voice for yourself, and I'm glad that you found it through writing too, because I can relate to that also.
Mhm.
So, did you have a loyal friend, someone close to you that you could trust back then?
I did. What's interesting is it was easier for me to tell a friend what happened versus telling what my own parents what happened. I think partially because it was a close relative, but that person was like, "You need to say something," and then I pushed it down. I just pushed it away, which is never a good idea. You should never do that because then that's when you tend to hold things in and then can blow up eventually. So.
Yeah, which is why you wrote this book, right? And I'm very glad. I'm very happy for you that you found your voice through this, because it's very important to speak up about it, because there are many chances that many people can resonate with your life story, your experiences.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Exactly.
next question, Deshayla, is how do you see staying the course being used in conversations about mental health, especially among children and families? Are there any resources or follow up activities you could recommend that should be accompanied with the book?
So I believe staying the course can be a powerful doorway to deeper conversations. It could be within the classrooms, it
Mhm.
could be within therapy sessions, of course, and within the childhood's home. But it opens the floor for kids to ask questions and to share their own stories, and definitely to feel seen. Um, some recommendations that I have that I actually created of my own. They're not out yet, but
Oh,
I
all right.
have a mini. I'm back ahead of the game. Sorry, but I have a mini workbook that I'm working on, some coloring sheets and journal
Ooh,
prompts to help children process their thoughts, but in an engaging yet appropriate way for them. And so it allows adults to connect with children through storytelling and reflection. It's a healthy way to have a conversation starter because sometimes parents don't know how to start the conversation and sometimes they do get stuck.
yes.
But just
Yeah.
making mental health conversation less intimidating and more approachable. So.
I'm pretty sure the viewers also agree with that. Like, there is this like somewhat an invisible line between parents and kids, right? Maybe it's because of the generational gap or something. But yeah, there are
Mhm.
times that parents and kids find it hard to communicate with each other, which is you mentioned
Mhm.
also a while ago, right, Shayla?
Mhm.
So yeah, and
And oh, go ahead. Sorry.
no, 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 go on. I'm sorry.
That's all
Go
right.
on.
I was going to say one additional resource as a school social worker, and those school social workers who out there who use a curriculum called Second Step. It's a really good way to have a conversation with. There's a internal, I guess, curriculum called the Child Protective Unit, and I used to love teaching that to elementary kids, and it was fun for me because I got to teach
Mhm.
lesson 4, which talked about the unwanted touches, and so I think that's another
Yes.
great resource for school individuals to use too. So yeah.
Yes, yeah, that too. Like, it's very important to teach the little ones about boundaries and what
Hmm.
they should know how to protect themselves. So, our next question is, Deshayla, what message or feeling do you hope young readers and their parents or caregivers or guardians take away after reading Staying the Course?
Three different things.
Mhm.
Your voice matters.
Yes.
Your story is important, and healing is definitely possible. Rather, you report the individual who may have that may have touched your child, or if there's a kid watching this that may have touched you or not. Healing is
Mhm.
definitely possible, and I only say that because I forgave the individual, but I just don't speak to that
Wow.
person. But in other words, I just hope young readers walk away with a sense of comfort, strength, and courage to speak up. And I hope that adults feel like more equipped to listen with open hearts and respond with a lot of grace. And this book is not just a story to me, obviously. It's a seed that I'm
Yes.
definitely planted. I have a lot of, oh man, I have a lot of other things that I want to do with this book. It's not just a book
All
for
right.
me. But I just want to plant a seed of families to connect with one another, and also include resilience and compassion too. So,
So, DeShala, you mentioned a while ago that you're working on a workbook, right? And that
I am.
too, that you have made plans. So, for the viewers out there, I want to ask you, do you have any other projects that we should look forward to, or what are you
So
currently working on right now?
Oh yeah, beautiful question. So definitely coloring books and workbooks and journals are the main three things I'm working on. I'm connecting with an individual who's very talented in that area to help me create it, to
Ooh,
bring it to
yeah.
life. So regardless of your gender, it'll be available for you. I'm hoping by the fall. I don't know the actual date yet, but it'll be
All
available
right.
in fall. And then secondly, I am going to connect with somebody to hopefully, God willing, make some T-shirts to have the same exact picture that's on the front cover of my book. To have some T-shirts and have
All
some
right.
sayings
Yeah.
at the back of it. I think that would be pretty cool to have.
Ooh,
And
official merch.
then
Yeah.
yeah, and book
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
what you call it, backpacks as well. I think those are two good
Yes.
tools that people could dive into. And then yeah, those are the main few things that I'm like currently focus on wholeheartedly with this with the I guess the different things that I want to accompany my book.
Right. So, yeah. Do you have any other books that we need to know about, like ones that are already published, aside from the ones you're working on right now?
Not at this moment, but do know even for the teenagers, I plan to expand a little more on my story. So I feel like this is more for, I'll say, grade 2 through maybe sixth graders. I want something for like 7 through 12th graders to go more in depth about my story, and it'll be more like a smaller chapter book. But that is definitely slowly in the works. So,
All right.
mhm.
So yes, I've asked you all the questions that I we here at Readers Magnet want to share with with the viewers right now. So DeShayla, do you have anything else that you would like to share with the viewers right now?
I think. Okay, hold on. I think ultimately, if you ever have additional questions, just email me at walkherthroughlife@gmail.com. I am. Oh, one other thing I didn't mention,
Yeah.
Brittany,
How about
is
social media accounts?
what was
I'm
that?
sorry. How
Oh,
about social media accounts?
oh yeah, I'm on Facebook. You can
Yeah,
find
yeah.
me on Facebook. Sorry,
Mm-hmm.
Instagram, TikTok, and LinkedIn. I hope I got them all right. Whew. There's quite a few of them that I'm on right now. So I'm on all of those platforms. I am in the process of reaching out to different schools. If you are in a different
Mm-hmm.
state, please reach out to me. I would love to come to your
Yes.
school, whether it's virtually or in person, and to share my story and do some cool projects with the kiddos, because that is my passion, is to travel to different states
Yeah.
and to share
Wow.
my story with people. So yeah, that's why I want to get the T-shirts, because then I have to, it got to be a vibe. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And also, sorry, before we end this interview, a follow-up question. Wow, I remember you said that you forgave that person who did that to you, and that is so big of you. That's hard. That's not an easy thing to do, Deshayla. So, um,
Mhm.
how did you go about it? I want to know.
Yeah.
We hear, especially viewers would want to know, like, how did you do that? What made you forgive that person?
So I'm
Or
a
do you have advice to the viewers who went through something similar, like your experience rather?
Oh yeah. So I would say I understand. I know that I'm a believer in Christ. So for me to forgive that individual, I didn't want to
Yep.
continue to hold my tongue or to feel like I'm mentally strangling that person anymore. I just wanted to let that go. And thanks to my dad, I mentioned him a lot in other interviews, but thanks to my dad, we drove to the individual's home because I confronted him about what happened and what I remember. Because there's three different incidents that I remember very clearly of how and what happened during those times, including using the bathroom on myself. Um, and so I just want the person to be honest with me, and he denied it. And so within that moment, I'm like, well, I just know I'm not going to be speaking to that individual anymore. But for me,
Mhm.
forgiving them was bringing peace back into my life and bringing my voice back to life and empowerment as well. So if anything, I understand that there are people out there who's obviously going to report that individual. I'm not against that at all, but I just wanted to be at peace for my own self. It wasn't for the individual. It was simply for me, so that I can move on with my life. And then that's why I started this book. So
Yes. And
yeah.
thank you so much for that, DeShala. Everyone, it has been such a wonderful time here listening to DeShala share her story with us. So thank you very much, DeShala. Thank you everyone who joined in today, tuning in here in Reader's Magnet. So everyone grab a copy of Saying the Course, a story about trauma, healing, and finding a voice in the middle of silence. It is available on Amazon and on Barnes and Noble. Is it also available in other platforms, DeShala?
I think those are the only two for now. Until I get my own website, reboot it back up. So just Barnes and Noble and Amazon. And if they
All
want
right. So
to copy, if they want a signed copy though, they can email me at walkherthroughlife at
yeah.
gmail.com and I'll get it to you. So
All right, so you heard it here, everybody. Again, order a copy of Saying the Course, a story about trauma healing and finding a voice in the middle of silence on Amazon and on Barnes and Noble. Once again, thank you for tuning in here on Reader's Magnet. This is your host, Brittany, and as we say here in Reader's Magnet, we share your story with the world. Thank you, DeSheila. Have a good day, everybody.
bye guys.